During the colonial era, many Africans were fighting to be free from slavery, and those forced by the act to move to foreign lands longingly hoped for a return to their homeland. In those days, their native homes were the best choice. There was no acceptable alternative. Now the coin is flipped, and we have several Africans earnestly hustling to travel abroad for what is termed the search for greener pastures. Home is no longer suitable due to several prevailing challenges bedeviling these countries. Nigeria, Africa's most populated nation, ranks pretty high in the number of migrants to other countries. This growing trend, known locally as Japa, has a number of implications for the country, and in this episode, we'll be dissecting the key issues and effects of the Japa wave on Nigeria's tech ecosystem and possible way out. You're listening to the TechNet Show, your weekly dose of the latest tech stories, analysis, interviews, and opportunities in the world of tech. If you're a techie or an enthusiast looking to stay up to date, this is the show for you. Be a part of the conversation and stay connected to our tech community on Telegram at TechNet Show. Hello, Net. Welcome to the TechNet Show podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Emeje.
I'm Gospel Bassey.
Hey, so this week's topic is a tricky one, and we don't want to discuss it alone. So we have a guest on the show, a knowledgeable young man who earns foreign currency right here in Nigeria as a technical writer and a crypto enthusiast. He's not new to the show. We had him on in one of the episodes on cryptocurrency. So guys, let's give it up for Gospel Bassey. Gospel, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for the introduction.
All right. Okay, that's cool. You're welcome to the show. All right, so for those who are not Nigerians listening to this, you may be wondering what Japa is. So Japa is a Yoruba word that means moving in a hurry or escaping hurriedly. Yes. So we'll briefly walk through like some of the what I'll call existing statistics of how the Japa wave has been over the past few decades, and then let's see where we take the conversation from there. Let's see how it goes. So according to Macrotrends statistics, it shows that the current net migration rate for Nigeria in the year 2022 is at 0.280 per 1,000 population, which is a 2.78% decline from 2021. And also according to a UK Home Office report, it also shows that Nigeria ranks very high or has the highest number of migrants to the United Kingdom in the previous year. So first of all, we need to kind of like understand this immigration trend.
Okay, let's first understand this immigration trend. It's actually not new, but in recent time it has actually grown rapidly. We have several challenges we face as a country. But what do you think is the major inspiration for talented young men and women to move passionately to other countries? No, too. The British government launched a new work visa for fast-growing businesses to hire skilled workers from abroad. So in recent report, Nigerian IT workers as tech workers emigrated to the UK in droves, including Nigerian banks and the rest. Imagine a lot of Nigerian workers in the tech space actually moved out outside the country. Not just in the tech space, even in the banking sector, energy sector, and other ones. Why they now? Let's just understand why are they going. The problem, what make them to leave the country? There are a lot of problems that are actually plaguing Nigerians. Vicky, we mentioned in one of our previous podcasts the issue with foreigners or foreign companies hiring Nigerian techies.
Yeah.
When they look at your network on maybe your network actually very slow. I had an interview with a client. I actually aced the interview, but the point that one of the questions was I should send my internet speed over to them. They gave me a link. Okay, this is the internet speed and screenshot what you have over there to us. So when I did that, I had was it at less than 5 megabytes per second, and it was actually it was less than 5 years. That 1 megabyte per second. It was so poor. In retrospect, the actual average internet speed outside the country is around 100 megabytes to maybe 100 to 70 megabytes per second. That's actually the speed outside the country. But imagine having a worker with 1 megabyte per second. It's actually not good. So most of these are one of the problems that actually plaguing Nigerians in the tech space or even in other professions. That's infrastructure. We have poor, non-existent infrastructure in Nigeria. Imagine MTN network over the few days. I've used it started since last week. It has been super. It has been so poor. So imagine you working or maybe having a meeting with a client and they can't hear you well because of your network. So things like that actually affect our performance and it actually affects the way people outside the country sees us.
Okay.
Secondly, to the insecurity issue.
Yeah.
Insecurity issue too. A lot of people actually move outside the country because of the country is not actually safe. We have kidnapping and the rest. So actually, that's one of the two main problems I'm actually seeing. So
Gospel.
which have the,
Yeah, like I want to move to gospel. Like gospel, what is your own opinion about the causes? What is making people migrate to other countries in mass in recent times? What are your thoughts about some of the challenges that we are having in the country and why people, young people especially, are moving?
Okay. I think that what Samuel said was actually more of generic problems that are everyone is facing in the country. But I'd love to touch more on personal problems or personal reasons rather. So I
Okay.
think one of the leading factors is for a better life. I had a discussion with some friends in the tech space, and they were writers, freelance writers, who are really hitting it hard. So and we were discussing about what is better, earning high over there or earning high here. If you look at it, if you're earning, let's say, $5,000 a month in Nigeria and 5,000 naira a month in the United States, obviously, you have more money to spend in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you pay less tax, and you have like the conversion rates. It gives you it's in your favor. But the surprising thing is a lot of them still opted to travel out, even with earning that high in Nigeria. You be a very big boy, you be a tech bro, a very big tech bro in the tech space. Because the thing is, when you go out there, you have a better possibility of having a good life. You have a good health system. You have a better, like how Sammy said, better security system. You have your family has better chance of living a good life. You have a chance of sharing in the America dream. And these things are factors that make people to sit and say, don't worry, I don't care about whatever you have to offer me here, I'm going to live. And aside having a better life, I also think other problems, like how Sammy previously cited, problems of infrastructure, is also really, really, really prevailing. I think one of the things that that limits the hiring of Nigerians or Africans on the tech space is the fact that most times we don't really have the facilities, or should I say the infrastructures that facilitates our work to be seamless with people out there. Example is the internet speed. We are ranked in Africa. I think we are one of the lowest ranked countries with internet speed, and it's not fine. It's not nice. I had a similar episode of talking with a potential employer some years back, and because my internet speed just kept on interrupting, it was very, very embarrassing. And at the end of the time, they rescheduled the interview, which never held. So imagine the opportunities I have missed out personally because MTN, or as at then Glo or Airtel, were not giving me what I'm paying for. So a lot of these factors, personal reasons, and aside from personal reasons, I think one of the most interesting factors is not the money, is not anything. I think one of the things that comes to someone's mind, to anybody's mind, is that even if I go over there and I'm earning less than I'm earning in Nigeria, I still stand a better chance of living a better life. My children are stand a better chance of living a better life. Because over there, you don't have to, your work is almost, it's no country, no place is utopia, right? But then over there, there's a better possibility of your work being equal to what you get in life. But it's not really like the same in Nigeria. I mean, imagine how good the system is that would allow you to be in Nigeria and nobody knows you over there, and you just apply for a job. And they don't even look at your educational background. They just look at your experience. Be like, okay, you've done this, you've done that. Just send us a test sample, send us your portfolio. And they look at it and be like, oh, you're very good, and they hire you. I mean, how many of us can attest for that in Nigeria itself? So when people look at these things, they'll be like, my skills are not just, most times we push these problems to things that are outside our power. Most times I feel like it's more of the Nigerian culture. It's not even the government or anything. It's more of the Nigerian culture limiting us, because we don't value people's talents very much over here. We don't value them. Most times I feel like most Nigerian employers, also this is also a reason, I feel like most Nigerian employers most times are toxic in the way they handle their employees. Some of them actually, because I met very interesting and good Nigerian employers, but some of them can be toxic in a way that is not really interesting. But when people in the tech space have a taste of international employers, and you see the way they handle people, the HR treats you, I mean, as I said before, no place is perfect, no place is utopia, but I stand a better chance of growing over here. I stand a better chance of having a better life. And not just for me, for my children. They stand a better chance of being people wherever, because obviously every day we see news. I mean, that's what the media says. The media is one of the biggest influence, right? So every day we see news. Oh, so person, a Nigerian, a Black African, or a Black African, an African, a Black American, achieved this, achieved that, was honored with this in yeah. And you see that they have modalities in place that propel or that give people the possibility of becoming anything they want to become, as far as you're good, as long as you're good. Few hours ago, I was already talking with a developer friend. He is actually a blockchain developer, although he's a junior developer. We're talking about how foreign employers value this value talent, and how if you're good, they'll kind of like just take you. You get they value your skills a lot. So the modalities they have in place allow scaling, easy scaling of your career, easy scaling and easy growth of yourself in career wise. But most of these things are not really found in the Nigeria of today. In the Nigeria of today, it's common knowledge that they used to say that the connection you need to get a job is even more than the connection in a server. So you really, really need to know someone that knows someone. I think at least one in five Nigerians, that's a stretch. 1 in 3 Nigerians will know a talented friend, or a friend that is very good, or a friend that graduated with straight A's or with distinction and is not working. Like it's there. You get. So when people look at this, and I think that's even one of the reasons people don't even, the education sector in Nigeria is not really encouraging from the student perspective. Because they look at it, they be like, I have a brother, I have a friend who was very good, he graduated with distinction, and nothing was done. He's earning 100,000. And one of my friends just ran out to the United States, and he's working as a cleaner and he's earning. So
100,000 is even on the high side. Just start with 30,000.
Exactly. In fact, today I met a man that was telling me that he graduated with a very brilliant classmate, and the classmate was a KK driver. He met him on the road at a traffic jam. So these things, when people look at these things, it's not just only
these are some of the
space.
sad stories. Yes, it's not only the tech space, unfortunately. The medical sector, the communication, fintech, banking, all of them, they are facing this massive brain drain. So now you mentioned that these problems are not limited just to the generic ones that we know, like government inability, poor leadership, insecurity, and all of that external factors, that there are also personal reasons. And you've also mentioned workplace poor talent management and lack of a straightforward growth system in the workplace. Now, does that mean that moving, like, I want us to look at the pros and cons of this trend, because Nigeria is actually at the suffering side. They are going to lose a lot. We are losing a lot of talents, a lot of professionals. And now it makes me wonder, okay, a few years ago, we were all about learn skill. Even up till this year, it's all about learning skills. Now people are learning these skills and they are leaving. And they are going to use this skills and this talent and creativity to better other countries. So Nigeria is losing out. This investment is not having any positive return, so to say. So are we now saying that because these personal reasons are valid and they are good enough reasons for anyone to actually move, are you trying to tell Japa, like, is it a good thing or a bad thing right now? I want to know. Let's say, is it a good thing or bad thing?
It depends on the person. For me, it depends on the person. But I think it will get to a point where it doesn't just depend on the person. I think it will get to a point where it's not just a choice. It will be something you just have to do in order to survive. I think most people that Japa is not really because they want to leave their home. If you look at some people who have Japan and they go out and they do documentaries, and they do documentaries of how settling in other countries is hard. Like the problem they face. I mean, it's not limited to one country. You have, I'm not mentioning countries, but you know that there are countries that they are very, very, very racist. Even if they are the ones that fly the non-racism handbands and flags and captions the most on social media. But you see everyday Black people or your countrymen going out there and telling you, this place is racist. But the thing is that Nigerians have thick skin. So they don't just feel it. They don't care if the place is racist or not. They just go out there and they try to make it. But then, as long as you feel these things, to answer your questions, as long as you feel this thing, for me, it's valid. If you want to move, you definitely face challenges. I believe when people want to live the way they are pro and cons, they'll be like, okay, I know I'm going to have a tough day for the next couple of days. Some people, they look at it from the moral perspective. They'll be like, I don't like these people's culture. I don't like their moral stand on things. I don't want to raise my children in this environment. So I think I can suffer in Nigeria. I think I can wait and try to make this country to be better. But my fear is people that had hope or people that have hope for Nigeria are reducing every day. Because when people stand up to change the status quo, when people stand up to challenge and be like, we have to better the country, you see people seated in high places and they are not even hiding it. They are telling you that it cannot change because they are benefiting from it and it's killing. So, like you said, you said they are telling us learn skills. The government that are telling you to, I don't even think it's even the government telling people to learn skills. Mostly it's just,
private
career advice. Yeah. So it's just career advice from bigger, higher, should I say, people in the higher echelon of your career. They'll be like, don't worry, just learn the skills. And it's true. It's not as if learning a skill is a facade because I work with Turing as a technical content writer, and whenever we want to analyze a developer, we have developers from like everywhere, from the Latin community, which Latin is Latin America. We have from all over the world, from Africa, from almost every country. So the thing is, when they look at this thing, they don't look at which school did you attend, what did you grad? Nobody actually cares about that. Nobody cares. What they care about is what skills do you have? What have you built? What's your experience? How well can you code? How well can you solve this problem? If you're a machine learning engineer, do you know this algorithm? Can you work out this problem? Those are the things they look at. So skill is, in fact, I think it will come to a time where you won't even need to put your degree in your CV. And I think that trend is actually starting from the tech space. Nobody wants to know your degree. Everybody wants to.
Yeah, so they just want to see what you can do.
What you can do. So I don't feel like learning the skill is actually a bad thing for any person. It's actually valid. But as we are discussing, the main point of the stuff is, after learning this skill, do you have to take it out? Is it really worth it? And I said, like I said before, it's really based on the person. But my fear is Nigeria is not trying to answer that, to solve that problem for a lot of people. They're actually discouraging more people to leave, because every day I see on WhatsApp statuses, people are be like, people that you were looking up to and be like, okay, I want to stay and vote with this person in 2023. The person has Japa
traveled, exactly.
Like, how far? I thought we all agreed to stay together and fix the country. And they tell you, don't worry, we'll fix it from over there.
I'm telling you. And so it's a crazy thing, right?
Exactly. And you see that one of the most interesting things I've really noticed about the Japa culture is that most people that are trying to fix Nigeria, genuinely fix Nigeria, they are from outside the country. Now, you would ask yourself, if they really didn't love Nigeria, or if they really have it so perfect over there, why would they want to change the country? Because I'm so much convinced that if Nigeria changes for the better drastically, because the country went from 100 to 0 real quick. So I believe it can go to 0 to 100 real quick. Although I know that building is far harder and longer than destroying. But then if the country gets better quick, these people are going to come back.
Okay.
Nigeria is the place that anybody would love to stay or would love to live in. That's not even an argument. Nigeria is a very interesting, we have one of the best cultures in the world. But then it's situations.
Is that going to now they coming back? Is that going to happen anytime soon? Because I mean, what is left of the country is scary. The best brains have left and are leaving, and there's that lacuna, there's that skill gap that exists, and it's likely to increase. So there's that possibility or probability of seeing them return anytime soon is very slim. So what would now happen to the rest of the people? More people are going, are we going to see any change anytime soon?
I think Sammy
let me come in here. Wait, sorry. Let me come in here. Gospel, you did not actually really. I wanted to hear. The question was actually clear. Is it good or bad? Like, you should give us. Because the way you have actually given us a lot of instances. Are you on the fence that is good or bad, or is it good? Which side are you? Let me know what I want, because I want to chip in something.
Okay,
yes.
I need your answer first.
Victoria, I'm going to come back to your question, but to really answer Sammy's question, Sammy is not asking the right question. That's not the right question. If you want to ask the right question, you ask me, for me, which one is better? I can't speak for everybody, because
it's from your own perspective. You're asking from your own perspective.
Okay, from my own perspective, if I have a good offer, if I have a very good offer that I know will better my status in life,
okay,
I would obviously go. But then that also depends on the country. There are some countries I look at and I don't really like their culture. I don't like their moral culture. So I'll just be like, no. There are some countries I'll be like, I can't go there.
I think we also need to add that it's not just country, but also companies, because the so-called big companies that people are dreaming of working in right now are the ones laying off a lot of their workforce. Meta, Amazon, name it, they're all over the news laying off staff. So it's another complicated scene, right?
Victoria,
but then,
imagine living in Nigeria, maybe September. Imagine living in Nigeria September, so I'm working in Meta, and then November you're being sacked.
You're being sacked, and your career is over.
Very fast.
You'll be back in Nigeria no time.
I think that's actually one of the cons anybody should consider before going outside, because you have to consider that what if I'm being laid off? The government won't have your back because you're not a citizen, at least.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a plan B, C, D, and possibly E. You have to have a lot of plans.
Exactly.
The whole alphabet.
Exactly.
I mean, if the English alphabet, which are 26, are not enough, you can try Japan. I think they have more than 200 alphabets. You can have a lot. You have to have a lot of backup plans. And I think one of the best backup plan anybody can have, if that person wants to Japa, is you have to up your skill to a level that it is hard for you to be laid off. Like that's the first thing. You have to aim for optimum relevance in your workplace. So that when you are making up the list for people that want to be laid off, they'll be like, no, we can't lay off this guy. And I think I thought of that stuff today. I experienced it at my workspace. One of the most important things you have to do is to be multi-skilled in a workspace. If you are a writer, it's not just okay alone if you're a writer. At least you have to be good at project management. You have to be good at human management too. Because in the writing team, they might need someone to manage a project. They might need somebody who is very good at editing. If you are a technical content writer, they might need someone who is also good at copywriting. So you just have to be relevant, multi-skilled, and indispensable. I know nobody is actually indispensable, but you just have to try not to be. And I think that's the number one best backup plan you have to have. So, okay, let's assume at the end of the day you are being laid off. Most companies give you severance pay of like 3 months up or 4 months up, and they give you resources to find other jobs. And I think in most countries, the government will give you a couple of months for you to stay and look for a job before they might, issue deportation letter.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure not to miss any of our episodes by subscribing to us now and joining our community on Telegram at t.me/technoshow. Now back to the show.
Okay, benefits of the Japa on the Nigerian government itself, not on the Japaing people, right?
Yeah, so obviously
I love the way you're coining the term.
Japan people.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have to start from the plan B, is the contingency plans one needs to put in place. And I think one of the first contingency plan I would make is to try to be irreplaceable. To try to be irreplaceable. That's number one. Two, to be multi-skilled. So even if you are a developer, you have to, you can learn more than one tech stack, because it takes different tech stacks and a couple of experiences to be like a machine learning engineer, to be a data engineer, to be a data scientist, to be a data analyst. And it takes a particular tech stack to be to know some tech stack to be a front end and back end. But that doesn't stop you from being a full stack too. You get that doesn't stop you from going over and abroad, because when push comes to shove, the weak, or in this context, the less skilled will always be eliminated. And and I think one of the plan B, another plan B someone should have is the person should be very flexible and open to change, because the world as it is right now is changing and evolving rapidly at a very fast pace. Tomorrow, a new system might come up. Like, take for instance, the Twitter incidents. Elon Musk just came up and be like, okay, I'm buying Twitter for 44 billion. And a lot of people didn't actually believe that would come to fruition. But when it came, you know what the man did now? He
laid off
sacked
over like 50% of the workforce.
And sometimes I feel like layoff is actually a petting word. They use layoff to make to make that word
Sugarcoat it,
sound,
right?
to sugarcoat it. In the Nigerian context, to say sack, the sack feels
Yes,
heavier.
you sacked. Yes, of course. A
Sack,
sacked.
it's that one looks personal. Oh, it sounds personal, sorry. Sack sounds personal.
It sounds personal. But I feel that was what Elon Musk did, because I didn't think he really gave them time. He went on board. He went on board the space for like on that particular day. I'm told the CEO Agaval, he just told him, okay, you are no more needed here. He also sacked the CFO. And I can remember one of me and my guys were contemplating, why did he sack the CFO? I mean, why the CFO? I know that we have limited views on what is happening on the inside, but we're like, what could be the possible reason to sack the CFO? If you wanted to sack someone along the CEO, you would sack the CTO or the COO. Why the CFO?
Yeah, maybe
And
personal beef.
Exactly. It's not that Twitter was doing bad financially. Why we sack the CFO? So, things like that. And that's why I said you should be open to change, should be very flexible, because things can change rapidly. I mean, I believe I might want to think that the CFO did not believe he would be sacked, even if he knew people would be sacked. But then that came up. So I believe I think one of the best contingency plans someone should have is that I can be sacked at any moment. I have to be updating my skills. I have to be updating myself. I have to be upgrading myself. The company shouldn't meet you after a year in the same spot they employed you. If they don't have employment scaling opportunities for you or resources for you, you should find them for yourself, because that will make them actually value you the more. And
Gospel,
and
what about
even when they are new?
Okay, complete your sentence before I ask my question. Go ahead.
Okay. Even when they are new hires, because new hires will come. Like, I remember there was a time I was discussing with Sammy, and he was like, why do they always hire team managers? Why don't you just take someone from the team to be the team manager? Why are you just hiring somebody from outside to be the team manager? And I said that most times when the company look inside and they're like, they don't really find someone there that will fit what they need. They don't have any option than to go and pick someone from outside and train that person to just fit into that team. Because no matter how good that person is, we know that the team has its own mechanics on how that particular team works. So that team manager will actually find it hard to get in there. But nevertheless, the company doesn't care. They'll be like, we need somebody who is good at this. So in those conditions, the team manager can just come and be like, I don't really feel good with this person being in my team. I don't really feel, and shift to another team, something like that. So that's why you should always try to improve yourself, so that if there's a need to fill a space, you are the one to fill that space, something like that.
Makes sense. Lots of sense. Okay, so you've explained this in from the angle of those who are working, who are going over there for the purpose of work. But we know that the majority of Nigerians going over there are using students study visa as the bait to actually go over there and then remain there permanently. So what will you say the plan B should be for these guys who are going there in the name of study, but they have no intention of coming back? What should be their strategy? What should be the plan in case anything happens? Because I think it's not every country that allows you to stay in their country after study. I think the maximum is 90 days, and that's UK. So I mean, what should be the plans of these guys? Because that's why we have a lot of them looking for asylum. We have a number of them doing different things just to survive and make sure they stay there. Yeah, Samuel, go ahead.
Vicky, let me chip in something here. For the UK, as at last I heard, UK gave up to 2 years for you to look for a job. And most European countries,
nice. Okay.
they give up to 1 year, sometimes 2 years for you to look for a job. Australia too, they give up to Australia like 2 years or so. So in terms of academics, those following the academic pathway, they have an option of, most of them after your first degree, they go from their field work and the rest, they look for a company to work for a company. If they cannot get a company to work with, they now further to another master's, or maybe going to PhD. With PhD, now gives you extra 4 years to stay outside. So at the end of the 4 years, before the expression of before you finish your PhD program, you might have seen a company to work with. So most often than not, those using the student pathway, they always have a lot of options available for them, because either you stay back and work, and of which, since you actually have a master's degree, maybe in a relevant program, so you will easily see a job. Nigerians actually, you are so hardworking when you're outside. So it's not even in Nigeria, Nigerians are actually the smartest. Sure. And I'll give you that. Nigerians are actually the smartest. So there's always a way. They always make themselves exceptional in cases like that, so that when you know that life is already leading you 4-0, so you need to try to gather some things to your own advantage. So that's why they actually excel very well in academics. So they get jobs and the rest. So for those who can, it's only very, very, those that actually come back after studies, they do that based on your own wish. It's not because most of them not get the job. Very few people come back because of no job. Very few.
Okay, so among the several reasons that people are jackpotting, now I want to look at how this is beneficial to the Nigerian government. Samuel, you might want to take this part. How is the jackpot beneficial to Nigeria?
See, I'm actually okay. The question that you asked, Gospel,
yes,
whether the Japa is actually good or bad. For me, I think it's actually good. I like.
Okay, good for the tech ecosystem,
good for the
or
country,
good for Nigeria.
Good for Nigeria, good for the whole country, because most we just need to. Why I think it's actually good for Nigeria. Let me start from the country. Let me use countries like India and Singapore. Actually, they had a lot of most of their professionals going to UK, US, and then they are actually more established. From there, they were able to send more development down home. You understand me? They're able to send more development down home. So imagine maybe Nigerians are now heading most of the tech corporations all around the globe. It will send a very good message. It will actually help us to finance even the homegrown tech companies. We will actually be able to access funds. Do you know when I was still new into the tech space, I was working for one Indian company. So the company actually were getting jobs, Hollywood jobs. I now realized it was when I realized that most of the Hollywood movies that you see, especially these guys, how do you call them, all the video editing and all those science fiction movies, they now list out those contracts to Indians. In the movies, there can be 10 Indian companies that actually holding maybe in charge of a particular technology or a particular editing part of for the movie or the rest. So it's because
Production.
of how
Okay.
good they have actually shown themselves to be, because of they have people up there contract down home. So actually, I know it's actually been in that way. So, and secondly too, in terms of we are forgotten foreign remittance. Nigerian is actually, that is, the money that we get from foreign remittance actually, I think it should be more than, it should be the second largest source of revenue for Nigeria. Actually,
Yeah.
the second largest. So we can't. If you look at things like that, you can't say it's a disadvantage. You know, we are actually gaining a lot from the whole Japa issue.
Okay, so we are gaining a lot, but can we say that what we are gaining, if put in parallel, like, does it measure up to what we are losing? Is it is it more than what we are losing? Because I feel like we are losing more than we are gaining. So it may, according to statistics, actually we have the remittances is standing at $19.2 billion, right? But when we talk about Nigerians' development as a whole, it's still nowhere. We have some of the smartest brains, quite okay. The world is not arguing. We have some of the most skilled and talented tech guys everywhere globally. But what have we done back home? Because what people keep praising Singapore for was the fact that, okay, they sent people over, they went abroad, they learned, they studied and came back and rebuilt their own country. But we are getting remittances, yes, but we are not changing this status quo right home. Do you understand the point? So are we going to get better as a result of this Japa? That's the whole essence of this conversation. Is it all? And if not, then what should the government do, or what should we as individuals or those going over there, what do you think would make them to come back and then try to do something? Because it's not enough for us to just get remittances and then, okay, obviously one of the benefits also is the fact that, Gospel mentioned earlier that poor work culture and poor salary and all of that leads some of the reasons people go over there. So now that companies actually know that people are running after foreign companies because of some of these issues, they are likely to improve their standards, improve their pay and wages so they can retain others. But can we say that in the long run, this thing is going to pay off? This whole trend of massive migration is going to pay off generally for everybody in Nigeria. Like, is it going to support our development?
Okay, let me start this way. It's better for you to, whenever you want to, for instance, maybe you want to build a power plant, or you want to build a processing plant. One of the, apart from the resources, or apart from the finances and the rest, another thing you need to consider is the human labor. Okay, if we are getting it right in terms of we have a lot of skill tech workers in Nigeria, or professionals in Nigeria, or from Nigeria. So, and then what actually the card, the table on the person that has the next card to play is the government. Okay, if the government can actually develop infrastructure in Nigeria, just give us, if you imagine I'm getting 24 hours light in Nigeria, I have a stable network, and then the security is actually okay. Why am I going out of the country for?
Yeah.
I'm not going out. If I'm actually outside the country, I may want to come back to Nigeria because, my friends telling me, oh, what's up now? Your network is really fast. Wow, that's nice. Oh, light. You are not, your battery's not, no. They have been constant light. Now, these days, you have constant light. When did it start? I started like a year ago. Jesus, when you start hearing conversation like that, even you decide a country, you want to come back because of the single infrastructure. Because you want to come and maybe you have a company you want to, maybe where you are staying, the taxes, the taxation system is actually so bad, and you don't want to keep your company running over there because of some financial issues and the rest. So you may want to come back to Nigeria, and all those things. Now, if you imagine all those things are put in place, you can easily come back. So the next person that needs to play the next card is the government. Make the environment conducive for everybody, professionals to come back, and the ones that are here not to go. It's not just preaching, okay, you push no go. Now make everything conducive for those around. Make it conducive for those outside to even come back. So that's actually the only place that's where we'll gain. But for now, I think even at that, right now we are still in the gain. We are still gaining. I mean, because whenever the government played their own part, you now see that everything will just sink in, and Nigeria will get to a point that you won't believe that you actually got into that point. Like it will get to a point that you even at that point when we get there, you kind of wow, I didn't believe Nigeria can be like this because of the government just played their own part. Everybody have played their part. The techies, everybody have played. So it's now left for the government to do their own part.
Okay, so it's left for the government to do their part. That's your submission. So, Gospel, if you're still with us, what is your submission? Who should play their parts now? The government, the individuals who are there, because we have rich Nigerians abroad. So I'm expecting to see what they also want to do coming back home, or even if they're not coming back, at least make some investment and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I believe someone was actually speaking from a position of how should I say? From a position of being too optimistic in this
Okay.
context, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel pessimism is also needed equally with optimism.
Okay.
Hope is a good thing now. Hope is a good thing. I need to have hope. Hope is a good thing.
But hope is also a
we
dangerous.
want to be practical and realistic right now.
We have to be realistic. So the thing is that we've been banging this gong of the government should do better, the government should do better. And the more we bang it, the more the government do worse. So the thing is, if we are waiting for the government to carry Nigeria out of the trenches, it's a very, very long walk. Because the thing is, the problem of Nigeria, I keep reiterating, it's not the government. It's more of our culture. It's the way we think. Who are empowering the corrupt politicians? Are they not still the citizens? If you look at it, it's the citizens that give the corrupt politicians the power. In essence, if we want to digress a bit, sorry for this is not a political talk, but if we want to digress a bit
Fine.
to look at the current trend in Nigerian politics, we'll see that one of the Nigerian presidential candidates who is like the most popular and the most that is kind of like most likely to win and most loved by the youths, what's giving him his power? What's propelling him? Is it his money? Is what? It's nothing but the youths, nothing but the belief people, the urge for change, and the youth that are giving him power. And you look at it, who are giving these other candidates that people are saying, oh, they have social history, they have done bad, they have done this. Who are giving them this power? You look at it again, it's still people in higher places. So the thing is, it's more like how much we want to change. And I feel like one of Nigeria's biggest problem is what Dante said. Dante said the hottest place in hell are reserved for those who are indifferent, I'm paraphrasing, who are indifferent or who do nothing in the time of crisis. So people in Nigeria who they know they can have an effect on something, they're like, it doesn't concern me. I just want to Japan and leave the country. I just want to do my own thing. They are the ones that are even adding more to it. Some talked about I've forgotten the exact word he said. The one that you talked about the payments being $19 billion, something
the
like
remittances,
that.
Yes, from
foreign remittances. So the thing is that what are they using it for at the end of the day?
Exactly. My point.
What are they using it for? It's not just about saying the thing. What are they using it for? Even if Nigeria makes $500 trillion from whatever sector, we know it's going down the drain. We can be there's nothing of being hopeful. We know it's going down the drain because the system's in place. It's not there to funnel the money to the right places. So it's more like we have to change ourselves, and by extension, change things for the better. It's only when we change ourselves that we can change the effects of Japa, and in the longer run, reduce Japa, because the effect of Japa, to be frank, it's more negative than positive, no matter how you want to see it. If Nigeria was good enough to use the foreign remittance, people wouldn't have even Japaed in the first place.
Okay.
If the system was good enough to even develop, people won't even start to Japa. Imagine if you want to save a boat, you have to go inside that boat. I think if you want to save a house that is burning, okay, fine. That analogy is flawed. But most times, if you want to save something, you need to go inside the system. Now, imagine people have to leave the system and go out and try to save it from the outside. So that tells you that it's not just a problem of let's let the government do something. Let the government know, they know what to do. They don't just want to do it. It's not you that will tell them. They know what to do. They don't just want to do it. So I think it's more of individuals changing their mindsets, individuals standing up. We can see what the NSAS did. When people
Yeah.
try to play down the effect of the NSAS, I told them it's more like a ripple effect. It's more like there's this law that states that I've forgotten it. It's in science actually. That's a small effect, like okay, they call it. It's similar to the ripple effect, right? So small things, small actions can cause bigger things in the future. So that's what happened. Most of the effects that we are seeing, the political change we are seeing now in Nigeria, it's more of result of the NSAS. If NSAS would not happen, the backing that some political that a particular political candidate is having now, a presidential candidate having now, he wouldn't have had it because youth wouldn't have known that, oh, if we come together, we can be so powerful, we can shake their stronghold. So that is what gives them that power. So it starts from you realizing, I have so much power. I can do so much. I can change. So fine. For the meantime, if you want to Japa, that's why I said it's more of a personal choice. If you want to Japa for the meantime, if you know that you can't survive and you want to go out. The only thing I'm asking is that for this Japa itself, the effect it's having on Nigeria, it's more negative than positive. Because one, the Nigerian banking sector for the last couple of months has been a joke. The telecom sector has been a joke. I mean, I can't remember the last time for like last month, my banks, I just dumped it because you can't do anything. You try to do this, bank app is misbehaving. And they said the banks, it was trending on Twitter. Most of the tech guys have left. There's nobody to service the system. Same with the telecom.
Exactly.
So how is it better? How is it better? And you think that these countries that are welcoming, Canada released an announcement the other day that they are welcoming how many immigrants? You think they don't know what they are doing? They know what they are doing. They think they love you, that they want you to come. No, it's because they know that when you are coming, it's benefiting them more. That is why countries have limitations that, okay, after you study, you have so duration of time to stay because they don't want you to be a burden to them. And at the same time, they want to push you to be the best of yourself, to benefit themselves. So it's more of negative for us than positive for us. So the only way Japa can be good for us is if people have Japad and we realize, oh, Nigeria is the only place we have. If we keep on going outside, we'll always be a foreigner outside. No matter what we become, we'll always stress out. We'll always be referred back. I mean, look at the Black Americans. I don't want to actually go into that. But then, if you look at history, things, people, as far as people have been there before you, they are the owners of that place. Times will always come up that people will tell you, go back to your place, go back to your origin, no matter how much you want to deny it. So the thing is, your place, your home is the best. Your home is the only place you have. So it's the only solution for us is, and my last take is, at the end of the day, it depends on us. It's on us rather to take the bull by the horn, repay the country for itself, reduce the number of Japa, or like other countries are doing. Because when Sammy cited that thing, like Singapore, the Japa, they improve themselves and they come back. It's not only Singapore, even South Korea did that.
Yeah, several countries have done that.
They send their people outside, then come back. The Nigerian students that were sent, for an example, the maritime students that were sent to Philippines to study, if you hear what happened to them, you'll be heartbroken. A program that was supposed to last for 3 years, they spent 7 years. 2, the Nigerian embassy refused them access to the embassy. Who does that? You see the amount of, it's just beyond what we can just say. It's more of how people are themselves. So Nigeria don't even care about sending people outside to come back and better the country. The government don't even want to do that. They don't. If they send their children to go outside and study and live there, they are okay. They don't care about you going. If they even send you outside, know that there's a great probability that they will leave you outside. They will forget about you outside. So
okay.
I think
Fantastic contribution, Gospel. Okay, so Samuel, now to close this up and wrap this up, like what are the 2 things you think if those that Japa, because now we are saying it's not only on the government to make the change, individuals also have to make a change. So what do you think they can do to like help the situation of the country, the space, the gap they are leaving behind? How do we feel it, and what do you think can be done? Just 2 things in your own opinion. What do you think can be done to fix it?
In my own opinion, I believe if going out, you are exposed to the outside, the exposure, nothing beats exposure. So I think coming back to, develop their town, their country is actually
better is actually one of the recommended action. No matter what happens as you're going out, have a plan that, okay, I'm coming back to develop my plan. I'm coming back to, apply what I learned outside. But actually, too, I still maintain my stand. If most of the infrastructures are clearly in place, it will be easier for people to come back. But if the infrastructures are not the man first instinct is to survive. And if there's no survival, if there's no infrastructure that will help to survive, people will never come back. You understand? So that is just my own submission.
Okay. All right. So that's your submission. I believe that guys who are out there can invest. They can at least try something, try to invest in the country. But like you said earlier, which I saw on your status, investing and doing business in Nigeria is also not easy. That's another topic for another day. But I really hope that we can come together, the government, the private sector, and all key stakeholders can come together and find a sustainable solution to this, because Nigeria as a country is losing out and is not going to help anybody. It's not going to help the nation. It's not going to help the people left behind. We are declining in all sectors because of this. So hopefully we find a sustainable solution. So Gospel, thank you for joining us on this particular show. This episode, I actually enjoyed having you on board. Thanks, guys. And it's a wrap from here. We would like you to actually drop comments for us. Let's hear your opinion. To Japa or not to Japa, or what do you think? Thanks for being a part of today's conversation on The TechNats Show. Do follow us on social media at The TechNats Show. Join our growing tech community on Telegram at TechNats Show so you'll never miss any updates. If you find our content valuable, would love you to drop us comments or likes, or you could share it with your friends too. Catch you next week.